Well, hello and welcome back to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahidah, and my fabulous co-host Tracy.
Hey y'all, did you miss us?
And you missed us more because I did have a co-host last week.
She
We
did.
did do a podcast last week, and something happened where the file got corrupted. I think maybe Tracy put some voodoo on my Mac. No, she wouldn't do that because Teresa stepped in and we had such a good conversation, and it took me a couple of hours to realize there was no saving it, and I had to reach out to Riverside to try and they couldn't save it either. So last week we did actually do a podcast and it just didn't come through. So, but we're back. We're
Yes,
back.
we are back. I'm literally and figuratively back because I am actually back in the great state of Rhode Island again.
After being in the great state of what?
I was not in a great state, but I
Okay.
was in Dallas, Texas.
How was Dallas?
Dallas was cute. It was
Mhm.
cute. It was, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I
Mhm.
really, you know how in your head. So here's the thing: I've been to Houston, I've been to Carrollton, Texas, I've been to Texas
Mhm.
plenty of times, but it's a huge state. I've been to Austin. All the different little places are quite different. It's almost like being in a country like the United States and saying I was in New York versus California. That's how Texas is to me, is that
Mhm.
the different parts you go to are also different. So Dallas was actually full of culture, which was unexpected.
Mhm.
There was some really beautiful museums. I didn't get to go to all the ones I wanted to go to. I did go to the Ross Perot Museum of Natural Science.
Really?
Yes, he did do something good with all his blood money. He created a beautiful museum with some nice dinosaur bones in it, which was why I wanted to go.
That's I've been to Dallas. I've been there several times for like work related trips, and I've been to Austin. Love both of them. Well,
Hmm.
love is strong. Sorry, let me take that back. Liked visiting both of them. And
Hmm.
I was telling Tracy earlier that as much as I like the state or the two cities that I've been to, there's an air there that I just can't get with. I think the air was thicker there, and you'll get what I'm saying, than Mississippi.
Probably. So, I mean, I will say I didn't get, let's see, how I got a good experience because I knew some people there.
Mhm.
So I went
Went
really.
with your coworkers, right?
Right. It was a mix of business and pleasure. It started
Mhm.
off pleasure because anytime I have a work event, I need to take the edge off. So my
Mhm.
coworkers and I will try to gather a little bit before, get an Airbnb or get a hotel or something, and we'll stay a few days ahead of time so we're not rushing in the
Mhm.
day of, hitting the ground running with work and then flying back out. So a friend of mine who I've known since I was 7 years old just moved out to Dallas. Shout outs to Natasha,
Mhm.
who took me to a couple of places. She actually went to the Perot Museum with me and my coworker, Talitha. And then my other friend, Dawn, who I know from our days as modeling and in modeling instructors and how etiquette instructors, I guess is the best way to say it. I think Tom might have even been a center director. I was a teacher, but
Mhm.
in different places. But we used to do the Barbizon cruises together.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we would chaperone these students. Long story short, we bonded, going on a couple of cruises together. So we always stayed in touch. And Dawn gonna show you a good time. Okay. She took
Mhm.
me to a beautiful fraternity pool party that
Mhm.
was amazing. I mean, beautiful food. They had the brisket, which you can't. That's like a
It's a
bingo card
Midwest
item.
and Southern, yeah, Midwest.
It is a bingo card item. They're gonna talk about that brisket, and you're gonna eat some before you
And
leave.
it's so good though. You can
It
go just
is.
about you didn't like it? I
I
love
feel like it's hype. That
really? I
it's
love it.
delicious.
Uh-huh.
It is delicious, but
Mhm.
calm down.
But
I,
that's their staple food. Like, we have seafood here. They have brisket.
to your point, I come from lobster, shrimp, scallops, clams,
Mm,
oysters,
like,
quahogs. Brisket ain't nothing to me.
really? I
It's
love
okay.
I love it. Maybe because
It
I like
was.
a little beef and then plus two, it's like every corner has like a brisket place, just about.
I
Where
like the
here
smell.
you're never gonna get it.
That smoky smell. I love the smell. But
Mhm,
to actually eat the brisket is it's good.
mhm,
It's delicious and everything. To me, I'd rather have a nice steak, like a nice cut of steak
mhm,
with some butter on it, and
mhm,
brisket to me is I can take it or leave it. But they had a spread of great food. They had barbecue chicken, beans. You're gonna get some beans in Dallas too. A lot of beans.
mhm,
Gorgeous pool, gorgeous jacuzzi, and just what these amazing people our age, fraternity and sorority folks
mhm.
who are professionals. They made their money, and they had a stripper pole, honey. They had a contest, okay?
Okay.
They had a DJ, they had the
Mhm,
cabana, and then they had the fans that blow water
mhm.
mist on you because it's so hot.
Yeah.
It was a fabulous time. So I was shown what I consider Black Dallas, which
Mhm.
I love, and I had a great time. But I also
I would probably
stayed in
think
an
so.
area that was not as, I guess not, it had its diversity to it, but
Mhm,
it definitely, like you said, it had that air, it had that thickness. And
mhm.
I was just, my mentality was get me back to Massachusetts and Rhode Island where the people know how to act.
Yeah, yeah.
They know their place.
I mean, there's a lot of black people in Dallas. I mean, well, there's a lot of black people in the South. That doesn't mean that it's a great place for us who are used to something different. I think we're
Mhm.
used to, oh, I don't know, because it's overt here as well. I mean, like, you go to South Boston back in the day, that was just not ever going to happen because it was overtly racist. Now
But
it kind of calmed down a little bit. You can do that traveling, but it's still dicey.
but so here's the thing, and I actually made this comparison when I was talking to maybe Natasha,
Hmm.
that yes, you stayed out of South Boston. You stayed out of the North End, kind of. You
Quincy.
stayed out of Charlestown, but they were not sundown towns.
Were they not? Because
I don't feel that they were.
I feel like they were. I remember going to school in Braintree. Now I'm only in the second and I'm third grade. I remember my mom telling me a story that they had some event for the Mecco parents, and it was at the school, and coming back it was like evening, and she got stopped by a police officer who basically told her she did not need to be there after dark, and it wasn't for her. He was looking out for her. He's just letting her know that they didn't like black people in Queens or at Braintree after dark.
Mm,
So, and I feel that has
yeah.
always been the air, especially with Charlestown and South Boston. You could maybe travel through there during the daytime, but you definitely did not want to be there at night.
And that's probably just it, and it probably was a mutual sentiment. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But I feel like I don't know. To me, when I think sundown town, it's like one thing is you don't want to be there, and then another thing is you are not wanted there, and there are consequences.
Yeah, but they told you about those consequences in South Boston and Charlestown. They told
I
you.
suppose. I suppose.
Maybe it's a little, because I'm a good couple of years older than you, so maybe it's the difference in the time.
And we just didn't even have a name for it. We didn't have the language for it. It was more of it was vibes and feelings, and of course the whole busing thing.
Mhm.
We get that. We know that. And that wasn't even sundown. That was daylight time. But I don't know. It just, to me, the fact that there are still sundown towns, and I'm 50 years old and only learned what that meant
Mhm.
maybe 5 years ago, five
Mhm.
or 6 years ago. I didn't even know what a sundown town was.
Mhm. I think
That and that they still exist very much so in in that area, and especially in places like Texas, still exist.
I think there was a town that they just created and it's only for if it's for whites only.
Okay.
It was just on the news. What was it? What state? I want to is it let me look it up real quick. Whites only town. Watch Google be like, no, that's not a such
How do you feel about that?
Arkansas in Arkansas.
I,
So
you know what? My mind was saying Arkansas. My mind was saying Arkansas. How do you feel about that?
um I don't think that you need to. No, I don't think that there should be a white only town. There are plenty of suburbs out there that are just white only. You already have it. But to specifically say that or to feel that only white people should be my neighbor, it's inherently very racist. But I don't want to be next to you either.
Hmm.
And the thing is okay, so you have your white only town and they look like it too, inbreds. If a black person, if a black community has their own community and they're doing success well, and you get jealous about that. So there have been times you can have your own town, but when we've had our towns, why do you have to infiltrate those? Nine
Yeah.
times out of 10, black people don't infiltrate, white towns. If you want your own thing, have your own thing. We don't really want to. There's a couple that might want to, fit in there. I don't know how I just think it's racist. And I'm glad that you pointed out that you don't want me as your neighbor. I want to know what you look like. I want to know what your fucking kids look like. I want to know who you are. I want to know that you feel that way so I can treat you accordingly.
Hmm. It makes me think. So to me, the issue with it is that it's not a celebration of their culture. It's a celebration of their hate. Because I think of a place
That's
like
a
a
very good point.
Chinatown, and I'm
Mhm,
like, I love a Chinatown.
mhm,
I don't want to move in there if you don't want me there. And
mhm,
they're not. I've never heard anyone say, "Don't move into Chinatown. Don't go to Chinatown.
mhm,
They're gonna beat you up if you go." Never heard any. It's a celebration of their culture
mhm.
without exclusion, but it's just like it's understood.
It's like they naturally navigated to some place that okay, one Chinese family moved there, another one, it just grew, and they probably didn't give them that town Chinatown. They didn't probably give it that
I
name.
know they didn't
They,
call it that.
right, so that was not on them. But yeah, you get it because it's a cultural thing. Just like there's some spaces that are all Spanish.
Hmm.
I mean, I remember living in Jamaica Plain before it was like that
Oh
place,
yeah, that was
and it
where the
was
Spanish people
all
were.
Spanish, and I would go outside every single day. I must have been like 8 or 9. Didn't speak a lick of Spanish and still don't, and play with those kids, not knowing, but or whatever. But no one was like, "Oh, I couldn't be on that street." I'm your
Yeah.
neighbor, you know.
And I think that these folks, like you said, they gravitated toward each other because that was where they were going to get their support, their
Exactly.
childcare, their employment,
Mhm.
their just sense of safety. You
Mhm.
know, where grew up in the South End, that was like where the gays lived, and but everybody else lived there too. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Mhm.
I wasn't raised in a family with gay parents, but I understood that it was safe to be gay in the South
Mhm.
End because that was the spot where you felt the safest. So I'm like, what it's giving me when you say all white city or state, it's not for your safety. It's not for
Mhm.
your culture. It's for your hatred.
It's for your hatred.
And
That's
you know what? I'm
100%.
actually fine with it as
Mhm.
long as you don't let the hatred manifest into a physical or form. As
Mhm.
long as you keep your hate in your bubble,
Mhm.
Go ahead. If that makes you feel better. Matter of fact, let the rest of them go live over there with you.
And again, as long as I can know who you are, I just need to know who you are so I can treat you
And
accordingly.
don't leave the safety of your community to come fuck with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And
Interesting. But
again, they all look the pictures that I saw of them inbreds
but I
easily.
would say that, it would I didn't experience any overt racism in Dallas. There were moments when like I was leaving a restaurant. Now, the rule of thumb is if you're exiting, you have the right of way. I don't care if you're getting off the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
getting off the leaving
Right.
a restaurant. If you're coming out, you have the right of way. The person coming in should hold the door, should wait for you. That kind of. It was those little microaggressions that we were experiencing. Like
Uh,
they would feel like no, they needed to get in before we got out. Why? When I'm leaving, I'm
mm-hmm.
making room for you. But
Mm-hmm.
no, you want to, encroach on my space and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, otherwise, I had a good experience. Dallas is actually a city I probably would visit again. I did have a moment when people were like fawning over, oh, Dallas, this and that. And I was like, yeah, okay, it's great. Until you want your reproductive rights, then you got nothing. Okay. And
Yeah.
that's not just Dallas, that's the entire state of Texas, which
Mm-hmm.
is politically a shithole.
Yeah.
So, if I was to go back to Dallas, it would be because it was cheap flights or my friends invited me and I knew I had things I had to do. I would not move to Texas just because I don't agree with their politics. And
Yeah.
honestly, the housing situation looks like it's decent.
Oh yeah.
There are so many headquarters, so many companies that you could work for and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But just politically, I could not see myself being a resident of the state of Texas. I will not say the great state of.
Mm-mm. No, not until they need to get themselves together, like seriously. So I'm with
And when you're there, you're gonna see their political ads. So here comes
you.
some Uncle Tom candidate for whatever he's running for, and he pictures of him and Donald Trump and him and Donald Trump.
I would like to say to that guy that the unemployment rate, the black unemployment rate, has reached its highest rate under Donald Trump. So
Mm.
what do you say as a black man running for office and you are all like kissing this man's ring and everything? What do you say about that? I know they say that he's done more for black people than Martin Luther King, but show me the
Well, so
facts.
you know how it is, how they always get when you try to, to point
Bringing
out those
back.
inequities is, oh, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. Okay, what happens though if people cut your bootstraps before you
Consistent,
get a chance to pull them up?
consistently. Anyway, that's another one. Anyway.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
overall, great trip. I work for a company that actually still has several DEI and inclusion programs. We have a Black Employee Network. We have a women's network. We actually have a menopause support group. We have
Wow.
LGBTQ plus support group. We have a Latino support group, and everybody's welcome to join. You don't have to be of that race, and my company maintains all of those. Um, and we don't have any pushback from our CEO.
That's good. We actually talked about last week too about Rhode Island being the first state to include menopausal women and it's what protected class.
Yes, yes,
What?
and so many men are pissed about that.
Really? Here?
Yes, oh, all over. That you should read the comments on those posts. So I actually
Really?
posted it. Yes, I posted it in our Facebook group, and I reposted it a couple times on our Instagram. But if you look on the news stories, there are so many haters, honey. So many haters.
Men can't really complain about nothing. I've seen so many crash outs this week with men over the tiniest things, like hanging off cars, trying to break in people's cars, running people. Oh, like really? And you're worried about a woman on menopause who we do none of that. We go through our changes and we get up and go to work every single day, but no big crash outs like that.
Right.
Wow. I know, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It does not.
And it gets you thinking like, okay, yes, protect women, number one, like
Mhm,
in end of period, end of sentence. But if you need to asterisk it, you got nothing without us. Okay, your
mhm,
population ain't shit without women. And that starts from the time we get our period, or actually from the moment we're born, with the number of eggs we're born with, to the time we get our period, to the time we have your children, to the time we start to sunset all of that, whether
mhm,
you had children or not. All of it is a lot for us. The pink tax is real. Y'all be screwing us over financially. We can't even get the same money that y'all get for doing the same shit you do, on top of being mothers and aunts and support networks and friggin' unpaid therapists and all of that stuff. Give us our damn rights. Like, stop playing with us already.
yeah.
You know, and women, stop letting men run you to the point where you got it fucked up that we can't have these rights, because we should have been had them. And it's actually the insiders, the women on the inside, that are fucking it up for us, that are
Mhm.
really doing it, electing
But you have to
terrible
ask who they
politicians,
are. Mhm,
co-signing bullshit laws and acts and stuff like that. If women actually banded together, and supporters of women actually banded together, bye, it'd be no more of this. This is why Sierra is now a Beninese citizen. Did you see that? The
mm-mm,
singer Sierra. So
mm-mm,
Benin has enacted a law that if you can trace your genealogy back to them, you can apply for citizenship. And Sierra, who's married to a millionaire, she's
mhm,
a millionaire herself, I'm sure,
mhm.
and got a millionaire baby daddy who's paying child support, has opted for her Beninese citizenship for the country of Benin.
Oh, wow. No,
I
I
don't
do.
know if she's gonna live there, but
Yeah.
she has the option.
I say if you can get the option, because this place is turning into really hell, and it's not even funny. I can't even laugh about it. It is actually I it's like if you read history, even just a little bit, and I know that they're taking that all away, but if you see what has happened over time in other countries that have been led by fascist leaders, and you could just plant us right in there. And part of the whole problem is, like you said, these women, these sensitive ass men who don't want women to have anything. And it's crazy because that town that I was talking about in Arkansas, they don't want the women working. They have to have a certain amount of children. So it's like they're falling under this
It's
this
Handmaid's Tale.
yeah, it's very much so under the guise of this basic Christianity that follows the Bible. Y'all don't follow
Mm,
the Bible. Y'all just
not
the
at all.
meanest people walking. That is, I don't. I'm not. I'm not a Christian, and I don't read the Bible. But I can guarantee you, the stuff that you're saying about other people, the stuff that you're doing to other people, I know it's not in there.
Right.
I know it's
Hmm.
not in there. You can't be. Oh, what would Jesus do? Not anything that you're doing.
I wonder if they're going to be a sovereign state.
I wonder how legal that is. I mean, I don't expect the
Mm,
Supreme Court to do anything, but I mean, to because federally, you're not supposed to. Well, you used to not be able to do things like that.
yeah.
It's probably legal now. It probably is
Mm,
because
interesting. Well, if you're not doing something against your will, too,
mhm.
if they agree to it,
Who, the women? Oh,
yeah.
fuck those women. I don't care anything about those women at all. I wouldn't fight for them at all. Fuck them. Because those are the same women that voted for him and see nothing wrong with the man having sex with your 12-year-old daughter. That's okay, but not your 12-year-old boys. That we don't hear anything about men or except in the Catholic Church going after 12-year-old boys and it being acceptable. That's still
Hmm.
not acceptable. But a 12-year-old girl, we can hear all kind of excuses of
Yeah.
why and then blame it on her.
Why it's okay to let them have a baby.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, fuck
Mm.
those women. But before
Woo. But
there's
yeah.
another story that Teresa and I did talk about last week was Shannon Sharp.
Mm.
So,
On the unemployment line, black unemployment, that ties in to your black unemployment,
but
Shahida.
last week when we talked about it, he hadn't been fired from ESPN yet. We just talked about the fact that he was paying the
50
numbers have
million.
changed. Yeah, because I've heard 23 million and 50 million. It doesn't matter. It's millions of dollars to this woman who's what, 22 years old? We talked about that. And then this week, he actually got fired from ESPN. So I don't know how much he's making from his podcast.
I'm amazed that he has $50 million to give.
Somebody said that he paid her more money than he got paid in the NFL.
I believe that. I believe
I
that.
believe it too, but that's wild. But and one of the things,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep bringing up Teresa's name because I feel so damn bad that our podcast got like blown to the wind. But one of the things that we were both saying is that this man was like, this woman is full of crap. These are lies. This is this. I'm not.
Mm,
I understand that at some point, sometimes it's easier to settle, but I'm not settling for $50 million.
no,
If I would settle like here's $10 million, here's 5 million, not 50 million,
not
not
50
50
million. And
million. Mm-mm.
it'd be interesting to see. It's her money now, so she can do whatever she wants with
Yeah,
it. But it'd be interesting to see what she will do with $50 million other than
she retired. She put out
not
a
retired
post that she said she was retiring from
from
only.
OnlyFans.
If that is not the most goat shit I've ever seen, like you let this little girl play in your face. And she
Yeah.
walked away with $50 million. And you all talking about, I don't date my age, I date my wage. Well, she's not gonna date you because she got all your money. She gonna date somebody with more.
And let's see who wants to be with your big, not so attractive ass when you don't have any money.
There's gonna be plenty of women who will still be with him. That's
So
one thing. That is what I mean. It might not be the women that he necessarily wants, but he's still gonna have a train of women who's still gonna be with him and
probably not
think
as
he's
many.
that.
When that money dries up, some of them women are gonna dry up too.
But not all women want that. A lot of women just, I mean, he has a proximity to fame. And whether or not he has all of the money, he still has a proximity to fame, proximity to stars. There's a lot of women who, young and old, who that's enough for them.
So this brings up something, and I don't think this is the same situation. I actually think this is probably more genuine. Did you see who is dating Karuchi Tran?
Deion Sanders?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
The
I don't
big age
really have
difference.
a big, but who was it? Somebody was saying that she was friends with his ex, Tracy, was it Tracy Edmonds? The one that was
Oh,
married to Baby.
Babyface's ex-wife?
Yeah, and they were dating for a long time. Were they dating or married? No, I think they were just dating for him and Deion Sanders. But they're saying that Carucci was very good friends with her for a good couple of years, and that she went up to her. I was on one of these black gossip shows, and she went up to
Mm-hmm.
her at a barbecue and said, "Are you dating him?" And Carucci said, "Absolutely not."
Define dating. Maybe they weren't dating. Maybe they were just hitting the
Maybe
skins.
at the time, but I don't really have an opinion on him dating her because I don't really know him that well, and I don't know her at all because
I
that's
just know her from dating Chris
yeah.
Brown, a failed relationship. I love her character on Claws. She did a really good acting job on that show,
Oh, she
Claws.
pause. Yeah,
Um, I don't have an
she did do a good
opinion per
job.
se, but I'm like, that girl's a little young, sir.
How old
She's a
is
little
she? She
young.
must be in her what 30s?
She's not 40, and he
No, he's
daggone sure old enough to be her daddy. Because he's got to be 60. He's
he's
got to be close. Alexa, how old is Deion Sanders?
Deion Sanders is 57 years old.
57. He damn near 60.
and she
He's
ask,
old enough to be
ask
her
her how
daddy.
old is Carucci. How old is Carucci?
Alexa, how old is actress Karuchi Tran?
From oldtimemusic.com. She is 56 years old and stands at 5 feet 7 inches, 160 centimeters tall.
No, that's not right.
Not right.
Alexa, how old is Karuchi Tran?
Remember.com. Arna Tran was born in 1965.
No, they got Alexa, knock it off.
You know what it is? It's like she's not famous.
She's not hearing the Karuchi part.
She's 37.
Okay, so he is literally
20 years older than her.
old enough to be her father.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I will say, they haven't been publicizing it. And I guess since he came out with his story about having bladder cancer and surviving it and stuff, she was like in the hospital with him. And I guess they removed his whole bladder, which is crazy. I'm like, how do you even pee? But I don't know how that works. I need to do more research on that. But
Mhm.
yeah, they were removing the bladder. I don't know if they replaced it with the prosthetic bladder.
Who does she look
Beautiful
like?
girl.
Kathy. That's who I was thinking of. She
I
looks
think
like.
she's cuter than Cassie. I mean, Cassie's a beautiful woman too.
Yeah, I think they're just so close. I couldn't even tell, but
But that's the kind of woman that Cat Williams was talking about. He's like, these men, they attain a certain amount of wealth and they go after these women that have the same type of aesthetic.
that's almost twin action right there from the other picture I
That's
picked.
pretty close. Cassie looks like she could be an older sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. So God bless him. I'm glad he survived his cancer and that Karuchi was riding for him. But I'm just like, I don't know what happened to people dating their age group and liking it. But I mean,
well, I
to
mean,
each
if
their
you really
own.
go back, I mean, there was always a thing that younger women dated older men for financial security.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
know, I mean, it just seems like that's just something that is not going to stop. I don't see it. I don't see it ever stopping because we've always had that younger women and men are willing to pay for that.
I'm telling you, that's the thing that hit me most about that whole astronomer fiasco. I'm like, at least they're the same age ish. I'm like,
You
at
know
least
he's suing.
I figured he would. I figured he would.
He's
I
suing
saw
Coldplay.
that coming. Yeah, of course.
When you said it, I was just like, what grounds does he have? And
I could
even though I've
tell.
read the complaint, I still don't see it as grounds, and I feel like he's gonna get his ass handed to him in court.
So, what made it a lawsuit is the fact that Chris Martin said, "What are y'all having an affair?" If he had just panned on them, if they
Mhm.
had just panned on them, out of jail, get out of jail free, scot free card. But the fact that you said, "Are you guys having an affair?" That was the kicker, and I'm sure he didn't even have time to think about it. I'm sure he didn't have time to think about it because who who would
Also, on your tickets, you sign away your rights for anything like that.
when you have surgery, you sign that if anything happens to you, you're not going to sue the doctor. I damn sure if you leave a sponge in me, I'm suing your ass.
Yeah,
So
but that's different. That's negligence right there.
he's saying it's negligence on their part. I knew
That's
from
the way you see it.
the
But that's
verbiage.
yeah,
Yeah, I knew from the verbiage.
accountability is always missing. This is what I'm saying. You talk about these men are upset that women are going to get and what are we actually going to get from having a menopause clause added to like
They
protect.
feel like it's overkill and we don't need it and we should just buck up and take
I
it.
This is why I sometimes wonder about God. Like, sir, did you not think to make our bodies equal, like in aging? And, because through so much and they don't go through much of anything.
I think they do, and it's not talked about. I think men go through their own version of
It's
menopause and things like that. It's just not because our body produces so much stuff.
Mhm.
It produces a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? From periods to, all the things that can happen in our womb area, and a lot of it is because we be messing with them and they throw our damn pH off.
Mhm.
So you know what I mean? It's just like we are different, we do have different needs, and they should be respected and they should be protected. Did I ask for this bill or act? No, but I'll take it.
I didn't even know that it was. I'm glad somebody was out there fighting for it, because I feel like some women, and we're going to have more discussions about menopause and perimenopause. Really, I think that what we're going through is nothing compared to some of the stories that I have heard since
Yes.
we started this. Nothing. So I am very much aware that on the menopause and perimenopause, I am privileged.
Yeah, and I have, like,
Privileged.
anytime I bring the topic up, like, women will say this is that's happening. I'll say, have you considered that it could be a symptom of perimenopause or menopause? And they're like, oh my God, you know what? You could be right. I tell you about the bugs crawling? Did I ever tell you about that conversation?
Mm.
So I talked to a woman who said that she's experienced this and she also heard about it elsewhere, that some women that are going through perimenopause and menopause have the sensation that bugs are crawling on them.
Mm. So, like, is it because I know there are a couple of times, like, you always feel like something brushes across you and you're just like, so
No,
that
it's the
constant
sensation that
crawling.
things are crawling on you. And it brought me back because I personally thought one of my offices had fleas in it when I was working, because it was one of those offices where they would like to bring the family dog. And I was like, they done brought fleas in this office. Now I'm wondering, was it fleas or was I having that sensation?
Probably fleas if them damn dogs was in there.
Probably was freaking fleas. Probably was fleas. But I was like, that's one symptom that is a shared symptom. I didn't
Yeah.
necessarily experience it, but other women have. And
Hmm.
then it's like some women, my hot flashes feel like a bell curve, like almost like a contraction. Other women report a sensation from the waist up that goes to the top of their head and steam rising off the head. So we're all going through different versions of it, but it is a very serious thing and it can be impactful. Does it stop you from getting things done? Not necessarily,
It
but
can, though. Think about that brain fog.
right.
That
Yeah.
brain fog is horrific. I think if I had to say the worst thing for me, it has to be that forgetting things in the middle of doing things. That's the worst, because I you don't know if it's brain fog, you don't know if it's early
Listen, I've
Alzheimer's
become
or
an
what.
excellent note taker. I
Woo.
have become an
Mhm.
excellent note taker. You hear me? I'm taking them notes, sticky notes, notes on my iPhone. I'm going to write some other thing down. I'm going to come up with a little game in my head to remember what I went into the supermarket for. I'm going to come up with a coping mechanism. But I
Mhm.
also feel like I don't want it to be like, oh, women are so disabled by their menopause that they shouldn't be president.
Well, they're going to say that regardless. Why is other countries manage to have presidents that are women and
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
collapse
I
until
think
the
that
men came back into it?
uh, other than in very serious instances, we deal with it.
Mhm.
We deal with it, and the symptoms can be dealt with.
So, but if
Um,
it's like depression, like some people go through a serious depression, and men do too, and whether they recognize it or not, that is protected for them. So, I need for them to be able to say, I need this mental health break. And
and
then
they
they go
should
on and have
understand.
it. And then you can be able to say, as a woman going through menopause, I didn't know, you don't know how it's going to affect you, but you could really be depressed and you need that mental health break.
Yeah.
Whether or not you phrase it that way, like this is part of my menopause, or you just say, I just need a mental health break, because you really don't need to give a reason for your mental
Yeah.
health break, you know?
I'd like
So,
to read through more what that protected status
mhm,
provides. What are the benefits of it
mhm.
being a protected status? Does it
Yeah, I
protect
think
your
that's insane.
does it protect your employment? Do you get a mental health break because you know you're in the throes of it and you need it? I was also with one of my 50-year-old friends who's like, oh girl, yeah, because I'm on my period. I'm like, you still getting that thing? Sorry. Like,
Girl, stop
it's
playing.
so
You know, I was just getting my period up until a year ago.
it is so volatile. It
Absolutely
is so
wild.
volatile. I am happy to be in the no period crew. I love it for me.
I'm with Robbie. And if she could come back, I would welcome her back with open arms.
Nah, stay where
I'd
you at, sis.
much
I am
rather
so good. I can,
period.
like, I can travel 365 days of the year. I ain't got to worry about nothing coming down
I never
nowhere.
had bad periods. I would have that first day, bleh. That second day would be ridiculous. It would be cramps. It would be gross. Third day, we're winding down. Fourth day, it's like, you know what? It's almost over. Fifth day, done.
Nope, I was a 7 day, like
Yeah.
clockwork, 7 days. And
Hmm.
then when perimenopause started kicking in, girl, it was gushers. You know those candies that the gushers? That was me. I was a gusher.
Nope. I didn't. I never. I had to be grateful for that too. I never really had any bad
Yeah,
periods, even after children. Before children, didn't have bad periods, and it
yeah.
was always 5 days tops. Like when I heard people saying they get 7 days, and I'm like,
7.
7 days, and is it still like the brownish stuff after like the third day? And then it's
It
like,
was
no,
very much
wait
still a
on.
period on day 5. Like still very much a period. And then like Peter off day 6. And then the 7th day is like, okay, the end of it. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't have to, but I do have some Rhode Island news. That was a
Ooh, do tell. Spill the
yeah.
Rhode Island tea for us.
So remember the old show with Chris Hansen?
Yes, to
We had
catch a predator.
Yes, to catch a predator. So obviously these guys are still doing that. And a
Yeah.
local guy, yeah, I
Mm.
know they're just probably never going to stop. Local guy in North Kingstown was part of a undercover ring for he was texting a young girl who he thought was 13 years old, but was
Mess.
an undercover cop. He's 30 years old, out of Pawtucket, but I guess this involved all of North Kingstown, and he was arrested. This
Good.
let's Alec Perry is his name, 30 years old.
30.
13.
You could get an 18-year-old, sir. You could get a 19-year-old.
What
Why
is the
13?
appeal?
What do you want a little kid for?
I think they would go younger. I really think a lot of these guys would go younger and see no problem with it, even if they have a child that same age.
Disgusting.
I just don't understand. I mean, of course, how are you going to understand a sick mind? But I
Yeah.
don't understand, especially women who allow this kind of things. And I say that to bring up Ghislaine Maxwell, who just got moved to a minimum security prison.
She's about to get let out. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah.
And I want all these super religious people, all these big time Christians who are saying the left is so depraved. You support pedophilia. Just
Hmm.
admit it. There was a representative out of one of those middle states. He just got arrested for all this child porn. Then there was a person from the Department of Education who is saying that the left is trying to feed us all porn and our children and just all this crazy talk. He just got pulled up for having porn on his computer, got outed, and he's still blaming it on the left. The left was not
Mm.
in your office, sir. The left was
He's
not in
saying
your
he was set up. So this is
He's not
the
even
thing.
saying he's set up. He's saying that it's he's not saying it's the left's fault, but he was saying, it's our morals
It's
that
available to
are
us because of
ruining the
that. Mm.
country. Yeah, and then but you're on it.
This is why, and I tell people, like, I'm so glad my kids are adults right now. I don't know what I would do if I was a parent right now. With how
Yeah.
much connectivity these kids have, it is frightening to me because I know the stuff I would have been doing if I had today's technology. Okay. Because I
Mhm.
drove my mother crazy without it. So I can only imagine I'd be that kid that they're like, where is she? And then I'm in California somewhere. Born in Boston, raised in Boston, but on the other side of the country, probably
Mm,
with somebody I shouldn't be over there with.
mm,
Because
mm.
That's it's the thing. It's like, I used to like older boys when I was younger, and
Mhm.
most of them had the sense to be like, little girl, you are too young.
Respect to them.
Right.
Respect.
You know what I mean? But, a lot of these kids are growing up fast. I mean, they're all wearing makeup at like 12 and up. They're doing freaking makeup tutorials, and they're over
Face cream
sexualized. The
tutorial.
clothing, the crop tops are at an all time high right
Mhm.
now. It's just like there's so much going on that's preventing kids from just being kids.
Yeah.
And they're getting the phones. Parents know they're not even supposed to be on these apps until they're like 13. Parents are giving them the apps early, giving them sign-ons. And of course, with technology, that means you also have more parental controls. But how many parents are actually using the controls or
Mhm.
understand how to use the controls on TV, on the apps, on the phones? Like there's so much access to your child now than ever
Yeah,
before.
it is. It's technology, phones, the internet, it's all a great thing. But I don't even think we as adults really know how to handle it. I mean, again, I'm still on my quest to like really taper down how much that I'm on the
Yeah,
internet. I've did really well last week too. Got down 78%. So I was only on like an hour and like 50 minutes. So 2 hours
that's
basically
good.
a day. Whereas when I really freaked out and I saw that I was on like 8 hours a day, that horrified me because there's just so much I could be doing with those 8 hours in my time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't like this 13-year-old girl. She's texting this guy who's like 30 years old. I
How
mean,
old
she
did she
didn't know.
think he was?
No, no, no. It was a police officer.
I
But there are
Oh, yeah, yeah,
situations
yeah.
when
Sorry,
there
sorry.
actually
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
like a 13-year-old girl. And a lot of times you say, well, where are the parents? And we live in a society now where when you're working and you get that moment to just kind of like breathe, we don't pay attention to everything our kids are doing. Or we give them things so that they could sit down so that we could have some peace and quiet. But that's not parenting anymore. You
Yeah.
have to be engaged. And I know it's hard and I don't want to go back to that time either because being a parent is a full-time job, but you can't hand your 13-year-old a phone and have them just entertaining themselves. Like my 14-year-old is probably on the phone right now. God damn it.
Yeah, it's like they're texting, they're talking, and the thing is that if you take that phone, they're the only one that doesn't have it. So that brings its own set
Yep.
of issues. I
Mhm.
remember my daughter, who's now in her mid 30s, well, early to mid 30s. I gave her a phone, I think when she was 14, and I was hesitant to do it then.
Mhm.
14,
Mhm.
14. And I just didn't see the need for her to have one before that.
Mhm. Yeah, they didn't get their first phones until I think they were 16 and they had
But
to pay
now
for it.
it's so much younger. And someone was saying that they had, I don't remember where I saw this. The kid was little, maybe first grade or younger. And it was like the holidays or a birthday or something. And every present, he was evaluating the size of the box to determine if he would open it. And he was only opening the little ones because he was looking for a phone. And when he didn't get a phone, he was pissed.
He crashed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Six,
see that, but I
probably
can
like
I
6 years old or something like that. So it's getting to be a lot, and I'm seeing babies in strollers more often than not. They've got a phone, they definitely have a tablet, they've got the headset on, and
Mhm.
that's the future. I understand that, but you also as a parent have to say, okay, how can I cut screen time and have more FaceTime? I'm also, I think, noticing a decline in toddlers speaking and having conversations. So I'll
Mhm.
see a lot of toddlers and they're not having conversations. Now, I think to me that's a cause for an evaluation. Is there
Mhm.
something else going on here? Or is it because they don't need to talk because everything is on the phone?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Everything is on the phone. And then also you have helicopter parenting. I'm anticipating your every need before you even need it. Why would I say anything?
Yeah.
So,
I know. I feel like I and you have to really be engaged in your kids. One of the things I can say is I have a coworker, and I'm going to shout her out and just say that Rose to me is like one of the most excellent parents I have ever seen.
big up
Like
Rose.
she really is. I am very impressed by her, and a lot of what she does is the same thing that I did when my children were young. She takes them everywhere. So they, we didn't have, well, I definitely didn't have like the phones or anything, but that's how you give them experiences. You
Mm-hmm.
take them places, you get them involved in sports and, dealing with other children. So they're more active, so they're less apt to sit down and want to have a phone. I'm pretty sure that they have tablets, and they do, and I think the only time that they can use their tablet is on a plane.
Mm.
And I guess, so, and I know she's working very hard. I'm looking at some of her videos and I'm like, I know this girl must be tired, but that's her
Yeah.
job right now. That's her
Yeah.
job.
And I can honestly say when I was in Japan, I did not see any children publicly with devices. None.
But that's what they say about like TikTok, those owners, and in that country, in China and Japan, they don't have their children on those devices. Where
Mm-hmm.
we are, feeding these devices to our kids daily like food.
And you know
There's a
what?
difference. No books. Where are the books?
And I rode the train. So the train, people picking their kids up from school, you would think that's where you'd see them using devices. No, no little children. I barely saw grown-ups using their phones.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? They did use them, but it wasn't as prevalent. Um, but I applaud parents like Rose. I try to be that kind of parent. I'm not gonna lie. Barney definitely got a lot of airplay from my
Oh,
daughter.
so cool, but Barney was good. PBS was good. Stop
She got a
playing.
lot. She was in front of that TV. She sat in
My
front of that
kids
TV
loved
for a
Barney. We
good
would
amount of
actually go
time.
to the video store on Friday. That was our big go to the video store
Yeah,
on Friday. And they would pick out like their little Barney tapes. And it's so funny to think about these, they're grown now and all big, and
yeah,
how they were obsessed with Barney. Now, there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with Barney. And you know that PBS was just defunded.
I know, I know, and I think that Sesame Street is getting a second life via Netflix, if I understand correctly.
It's been on HBO for the last, what, 5 years.
Okay.
So I
So
don't know if
there are other outlets. So and that's the thing is like we have to stop complaining about what's being defunded and figure out where to get the money from because the money is out there. You know,
Mhm.
knock on Daddy Bill Gates' door and get some money from him. Knock on other philanthropists' doors or we may have to fund some things or produce our own art and creativity ourselves. Or replace those things, what have you. It's
But
definitely
children
scary
definitely
time.
PBS. I'm just it's saying, and there are other ways because I did just see that there's an app called Free PBS where they have all the older shows on.
Oh,
So
good.
especially if you don't have money for all of these streaming channels, which is utterly ridiculous because we're paying for everything, but it's free PBS. And I don't know if all the TVs have it, but I know Sony has it.
That's
Because each
good.
one has different streaming, streaming apps. But I saw that and I liked it. But when I think of PBS Boston, that's what got me into foreign TV because
Mm,
that's what aired, and that became very interesting. And from the time I was like maybe I would say like the fourth grade is when I started watching shows from the UK and have
yeah.
been obsessed ever since. But then that led to me watching like Japanese movies, when I was very young. It's needed. The world view is different on PBS than it is anywhere else. And I used to love the little shows that they do locally. When they would go into, I think Boston had one, they would go into like different communities and talk to shop owners. Those were good shows.
Even Julia Child.
Yeah. Yep. I remember Julia Child.
Yeah, I actually loved the series they made for her on HBO. Those are
I
all that
missed it.
public
Yeah,
television,
yeah.
so we have to figure that stuff out. But it's a girl's only been 6 months with this fool.
And
7 months.
it's scary. It is, but you know what? We can't be scared, like you said, or we're starting to say. Yep, it's defunded. Now we have to find another alternative.
What's plan B? What's plan B?
Yep. Hmm.
And they're cutting food stamps. They're cutting social security. It's time to start figuring out,
Medicaid.
get on YouTube and figure out how to grow your own shit in that backyard. You know what I'm saying? Have a community co-op if you have to.
Mhm.
Exchange fruits. I got eggs. You got cucumbers. I got this. I got that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously certain health things you can't doctor for yourself, but a lot of things we have to take in our own hands now.
We need to figure out how to take down a regime. That's what we need to figure out how to do. I don't
Go
feel
on
like
Chat GPT. Ask Chat GPT how to take that regime down.
something. Oh, yeah, it is. It's terrible. Anyway, anything else, ma'am?
Oh, I don't know. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. We're gonna try to figure out our tech stuff. We're going to be doing another live again soon. We got really amazing feedback from the live that we did, and we want to do it again for you.
Really?
It was so much fun. Shahida and I were like, maybe we'll do like 30 minutes of it, because who's gonna show up? And look what happened. Look what happened. People
Like an hour
came
and a half to
and entered the chat. It
practice.
was almost 2 hours. It was like
Yeah,
almost two
yeah.
hours. It was good. So we'll be
It was.
doing another live soon. I'll have more to report from my first ever travels to Jamaica.
I've never been to Jamaica either.
So we'll see what I have to report back about the great
You're going to a
country
wedding.
of
You're going to a
Jamaica. I
wedding, right?
am going to part two of a wedding, yes.
It's always nice to have two parts to your wedding. That's how, isn't that
I love
how?
it. Listen.
Yeah, yeah, the Indians do it. They have like a little wedding and a big wedding and then another wedding. It was like 3 days of wedding
Yes.
affairs or something. They know how to party.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Until next time, folks. Again, I am sorry about last week, but we will be here the next couple of weeks because I'm not going anywhere in August. My mom's 75th birthday is taking a bite out of me. That woman wants everything, but she deserves it. I'm very
She
happy.
deserves it. 75 is a big one. So celebrate,
She does.
celebrate,
And she's
celebrate.
saying, so yeah, we're doing the most. We are doing the most for Amina. But anyway, until next time.
We'll see you then.
Oh, I thought you was going to break down where we are. Oh, you
Oh my
forgot.
God.
You
I'm
went
so
to
out of practice.
Dallas and forgot.
So you know where to find us. Because they already know where to find us. That's why I was like,
Okay, they
ain't no
should
point
by
in
this
telling
time.
them. But in
Mhm.
case you're listening for the first time and you don't know where to find us, you can find us on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. You can find us streaming on Spotify and on YouTube or wherever podcasts are heard. For now, we are still not where Sheeta. For now.
We're not on TikTok right now. They're playing too many games. Until they get themselves together, we got to fight the power. That little bit of power we have. Fuck TikTok. So until
Until next time.